all get together, our vision is the same. Our text says in verse number 3 that when they all got together, they saw the same thing. They all had the same testimony. They were all focused on the same thing. They were focused, not sidetracked. They were concentrating on the vision that God was providing, not the peripheral, tangential, non-essential, unimportant mess that we often allow to cloud the vision that God has given us. No one was excluded. Everyone experienced the presence of God. The text didn't say that those who've been following God from the beginning saw. The text didn't say that the most educated in the house saw. The text doesn't say that the one who gives the most often, or those blessed with positions in the church saw. The text says the folk saw what seemed to be tongues of fire resting on each of them. From the greatest to the smallest, from the richest to the poorest, from the prettiest to the ugliest, from the well-dressed to the poorest dressed, they all got to see the vision. Don't think that any of one of us has the vision of God on lockdown. Our text shows us that they all got to see the vision. No one was excluded. Everyone was included. And I believe that it was because they were all together and on one accord focused on God. Church, if you want to see the vision that God has for us, the church, we must be all together and focused on God. Oh, but don't take my word for it. Just look back at your own lives. Look at what happened when you took your eyes off of God. Look at what happened when you took what was supposed to belong to God and applied it someplace else. Look at what happened when your focus was on your failures rather than your faith. When your focus was on your victimization rather than your victories. When your focus was on your enemies rather than your enriched blessings that God has dog-eared just for you and you alone. Church, when we all get together, when we focus on and see the same thing and envision the same thing, what a time, what a time, what a time. Sometimes it takes a Pentecostal-like miracle to get us to see the same thing. Sometimes it takes a Pentecostal-like miracle to get our attention. Sometimes it takes a Pentecostal-like miracle to get us to open our eyes and see the vision that God has for us, the church. Tell your neighbor. Say, neighbor, what does God have to do to get your attention? What does God have to do to get your attention? Then turn it on yourself. What does God have to do to get my attention? Help us today. Help us today. Sometimes it takes a Pentecostal-like event to get your attention.